Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Test.
Yep, hear you loud and clear.
This is Jeff. I'm in.
Hey, Jeff, got you loud and clear. Okay.
Good evening, John. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Ms. Rosenthal. How are you?
I am doing great.
Let's go ahead and get your name queued up here for OSBO, ready to roll. Looks like we got a couple more minutes for folks to file in here.
Hello, John.
Mr. Anderson, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you joining us this evening. Mark you present here. Everything going all right out Irmo way?
Can't complain. It's a beautiful day. How about you?
Oh, I tell you, every time I head out that way, I'm just looking at all the infrastructure improvements that are coming out there,
Yeah.
The Broad River, of course, being a big one, but I saw that they're shutting down Coon Road to go ahead and get ready for the expansion of 26 out that way too, which I know will have some traffic implications.
Yeah, there's been about 3 exits on this side, so that's going to bring a lot of development out here. Much needed also.
Absolutely. I was talking to someone recently about how I can't imagine how they're going to close Columbia Avenue up in Chapin to widen that bridge.
Yeah, I think I saw that program too. I think that's going to happen, I think, in 2027 or something, or by the time they can complete it or something.
Okay, we might have some time to worry about that one. Maybe we'll get Broad River out of the way before then.
Yeah.
Check
I
in.
think there's Chapin has a lot of development going on out there. There's a lot of building, residential building out there.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of pasture ready to become subdivision.
I mean, Chapin is larger than most people think it is. It's pretty big, and like I said, there's a lot of pasture land, and land is ready to build on.
Absolutely. I've got room for it. JM235263. I'm not sure if I'm recognizing your face.
Good afternoon. Jeff McNesby, project manager. You may know me better as a dirt road guy.
The dirt road guy. All right. Thanks for joining us.
Sure.
Just trying to take roll and see how much business we're going to do today. I think that we might be at time here and we might be just a bit short of a quorum. Some work for me to do for our next meeting, folks. Okay, so we're going to hit record. Got it. Awesome. All right, y'all. Well, we're just a couple minutes past the half hour here, so we will go ahead and get started. I guess real quick, just to make sure that I am tending to the business of the committee and to make sure that we don't have anyone on one of these other lines that I'm missing. I just want to run through our role here. Is Richard McKendrick on? Okay, not seeing any response. I see Mr. Black is on. Is Lee Mashburn on? Seeing no response there. Connor Parker? Okay. Sean Greenwood? All right. Mr. Anderson, we spoke a moment ago. Cyril Busby, who I probably need to find another way to reach out to. I've tried to call, I've tried to email. Maybe I need to write him a letter and see if that might help him get involved. He was very involved when we were in person, but I think that maybe he's running into technical issues because I'm not sure he's logged in for one of our virtual meetings since we went virtual a couple years ago now. I'm on here. Brian, or you make the call today? Just see a couple of 803 numbers down there I don't recognize. And then Miss Eva, I see you're on the line. Thank you for joining us and getting ready to roll here. So very good. So y'all, that unfortunately will bring us just short of a quorum by one voting appointee. What that means is that while I would still like to provide this forum for our advisors to provide their updates and to discuss the business of the penny, we will not be approving our minutes from the January meeting or providing official minutes from this meeting. And so if there's anything we want to preserve for the record, we're going to have to do that, unfortunately, at our March meeting when we have minutes that we can take. But unfortunately, we do not have a quorum today to be able to call this meeting to order so that we can track all of that information. But the county will still record this session. It'll still be posted online. It just will not be posted as an official meeting. Did anyone who just log on, or did any appointees just log on in the last 30 seconds since I did roll call? I just want to check real quick. So that's all. A couple of folks jumping in here. All right. Hearing none, let's conduct the business of the penny. And with that, I will call this meeting to order. Do we have any public comments, Kelly, that or anyone else? If we heard any public comments that we need to address to start the call?
No, sir, none.
Okay, very good. The next item that we added to the agenda was the approval of the minutes, but again, without a quorum, we cannot do that business today. So we will skip that item and move into the Office of Small Business Opportunities. Ms. Rosenthal, I appreciate you joining us and look forward to your update. Of course, we do all have our agenda packet with us, and so anything you can do to reference page numbers as you go through and provide your update will be very helpful.
Thank you, John. I would like to start on page 6, the SLBE certified firm status, and our pending numbers. We have 12 pending applications. We have 13 renewing applications, and on your certified the report that you have, it has 110. However, just prior to me jumping onto the Zoom, our numbers went up by 2. So we are now at 112. Yay! We're really excited about that one whenever we get someone certified. I'd like to move on, if there's no questions about that, I'd like to move on to page number 7. At the bottom of the page, total certified SLBEs. We have in the architecture and engineer services, we have 8. Construction services, we have 40 certified SLBEs. Non-professional services, we have 11. Professional services, we have 41. Wholesales, we have 10, for a total number of 110. We'll be giving you an update on that. I'd just like to highlight, moving on to page 8, I'd just like to highlight a few things from item Roman number 5, some notable survey feedbacks that we received from our Cash App Me, the right way. We have comments from surveys that talked about our presenters, Shanice Clickley, and also Ronnie Burkett from Burkett, and Burkett. Shanice is, these are quotes from the surveys. Shanice is great as always. She's really appreciate Ron Burkett. Very clear accounting explanations. Would love to attend more with him. The presentations was great and the speakers were energetic and fun. I would love more tax webinars like this. I love a part 2 of the webinar, and I just have just a couple of more. Shanice is an exceptional facilitator and presenter. Her delivery, knowledge, and energy are real external motivators. Shanice Clickley is always great, always inspiring. Mr. Burkett was by far the best accounting presentation. I really hope to see more of him. Thanks for all the support and resources. Those comments were very noteworthy from our perspective. And here are the numbers for our attendees for the 2022 Office of Small Business Opportunity Academy. We had, I think, did I win the bid, Understanding the Contracting Series, Part 3. We had 30 people in attendance to that. And also, let me just back up one. On January 22nd, we had 25 attendees. And for our How to Write a Business Plan, who we partnered with the SBDC, and we had a total number of participants of 65. Now, this is a real critical workshop because it ties into our seed grants, and it's one of the requirements for that, which is why I'm making mention of it. And we'll be doing our Lunch and Learn on March the 17th, which will be capabilities, how to write a capability statement. That's some of the things that the small business owners have told us, some of the things that they would like to see going forward. So we are definitely pleased to honor that, and we look forward to having more participants. Everything else is pretty much, that wraps it up for OSBO, unless you have any questions for me, John.
I do, but does anyone else have any other questions or comments for OSBO? I'd be very curious to know, with the great feedback that y'all received for the Cash at Me lesson, whether there'd be another opportunity to do something like that again. It sounds like it was valued by the community and a great seminar.
Yes. We do intend to do another one at some point later on during the year, but we're still working on other workshops as well.
Okay. And I think that maybe even at our last meeting, you had mentioned pulling together a training schedule for 2022. Have y'all been able to flesh that out and get it to where it's comprehensive for the year? I know a lot of this stuff kind of comes up as it's prudent, right?
Yes, we're still working on it, and the reason being, trying to lock in locations, especially because of the pandemic, and also trying to lock in the presenters as well. But we're constantly working and updating it as we go.
Okay, very good. We were talking a little bit about the small business relief grants and the number of applicants y'all had gotten there. What's the status of that program, and is it advancing? Is it, I guess, reviewing applications now, or
Yeah,
funds going out?
We're still in the review process for the grants, and hopefully the monies will be released sometime during this month. We're hoping. We have our fingers crossed, but we don't control that. That's done by the grant department, and we're just hoping that it gets done real soon, because these people have been waiting for quite a while, and we're constantly getting calls asking the status. And we'd love to be able to tell them what the status is, but right now our hands are tied and we can't tell them anything.
So you'll be able to provide a recommendation, though, to the grants department this month, and the ball would then be in their court to issue those funds?
We've already provided them the information, as well as the applications that were pre-approved from our office on our end. We're just waiting for them to complete the final evaluation and release the funds.
Very good. And also, we had been talking a little bit about the Seeds to Engage program and getting that one rolling. Have y'all had any other activities with that since last month?
No, we were just told by the grants department that hopefully it'll be released soon, hopefully sometime during this month. Okay. But again, that's another item that's out of our control, and we're still getting calls on when is it going to be released. So we have to just let them know what the grant office has told us about it.
Okay. Good. Do y'all have any other questions for Michelle and OSBO before we move on to transportation? Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. So looking back at our agenda, we'll move into item 5, transportation programs. If I scroll down through my pages here, I think that puts me on page 11 to start here. Mr. Maloney, thanks for joining us.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Appreciate it. We have a number of our members of our transportation department here tonight. You all know Kelly Odom. We've been conveniently put this meeting together for us from our office administration. Melissa Huey, financial manager, is here. And then our 4 of our project managers are on. Don't know if Michael's on tonight, but we have Rashid Muwakil, who's going to be providing our pre-construction update, and all of our project managers will be combining on our construction with Dr. Ali. I call him, because this will be the first time I said his last name, Dr. Delia Doriani. And then Kim Toney and Jeff McNesby. So hopefully I didn't offend Dr. Ali. He's known throughout the office as that, and That's as far as I've gone before, but I believe he's on. Dr. Ali, are you on? Checking some of these phone lines we have here. I'm going to start out with the approvals that we've just gotten, and we got committee council approval item in the Blackwood Road right-of-way acquisition was through committee, so really recommended, but committee approval to go to council. And then that's keeping that project moving so we can get to the design bidding phase. And then Atlas Road widening, that was previously only approved through committee, and council has now approved the CE&I materials testing. So that'll be lined up for getting that project to construction. And then we had just 3 more wetland credits sold, $20,000. Don't ask me why, but yes, back to full retail on that one. And you know, I did a lot of Q&A with our people in charge of that, and you know, it just comes down to you know, when we say market, it kind of also comes down to how quickly do they just need to get it done and go right to the county for it versus, you know, kind of a shopping for them. Upcoming, we'll have again that Blackwood Road going to the council tomorrow night, and then Congaree Point will be approved tomorrow night. So we have Rashid, who is one of our project managers, and he's going to give us the pre-construction update.
Okay, thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. As Mike just said, I will brief you on the pre-construction updates. There are quite a few, so if you have questions along the way, please feel free to stop. All right, first we have the Afghan Road Sidewalk. The final construction comments have been received from SCDOT, and the OET is in the process of responding. And the utility coordination is being finalized as well. For Atlas Road widening, the OET is working to address the final plan comments from SCDOT. The city is still working on several easements that they need for the water relocation. CSX has requested a few changes to the signal arms at their crossing, so the OET will address all these comments before submitting the final plans to SCDOT for approval. For the Bluff Road widening phase 2, the OET is finalizing the 30% preliminary plans. Blackwood Road widening, the county is in the process of finalizing the acquisition of the last parcels. The town of Winsboro has finalized the water relocation plans, and the OET has been directed to start working on the final bid documents so the county can advertise this project. Next, we have the Blackwood Road Area Improvements Project. The comments have been received from SCDOT on the right-of-way plans for both Creech and McNulty. The OET has addressed the SCDOT's comments and have resubmitted the plans. The right-of-way acquisition for both McNulty and Creech is anticipated to begin in March. Next, we have the Broad River Corridor NIP. The service order for this project is pending county's approval and is set to begin in March. For Bull and Wood intersection, the utility coordinator is working on finalizing the utility plan. So once the utility plan is finalized, the OET will be able to prepare the bid documents, and the county will be able to advertise this project as well. For the Crane Creek NIP, the OET is finalizing the right-of-way plans for phase 2 and the preliminary plans for phase 3. Next, we have the Crane Creek Greenway project. The OET has provided a preliminary layout for this greenway to run from Canal Riverfront Park along the river, underneath the CSX Railroad and over to Mountain Drive. Staff is working with the City of Columbia to allow the greenway to run along their existing sewer easement and to finalize the layout around their sewer substation and access road. And the county has received preliminary rejection from the railroad to allow the Greenway to go under their bridge. So the staff is working with the city in order to evaluate the best course of action for us to move forward. Next, we have the Decker Woodfield NIP. For the Brookfield Road Sidewalk Chatsworth Connector, SCDOT has provided comments on the final construction plans, and the OET is working to address them. A maintenance agreement between the county and the Recreation Commission will be needed in order to execute for the Recreation Committee to take over permanent maintenance of the connector. This item is anticipated to go to the Recreation Commission's board in March for approval. And this portion of the NIP will also have intersection pedestrian improvements along Decker Boulevard added to it, which will include the intersection of Decker Boulevard with O'Neill Court, Brookfield Road, Faraway Drive, and also Percival Road. And for the Hunt Club Road, the OET is working on the preliminary 30% plans. All right, now we move on to the dirt road paving package N. This package is under development and is anticipated to go to advertisement in the fall of 2022. For Garner's Ferry Harman intersection, the project has been advertised. The pre-bid meeting was held on February 2nd, and the bids are actually due to be received today.
There was just one back. I think we on Dirt Road N, we did have an update that we think that won't be really ready till fall. So if you have an agenda that says spring, summer, that's an update to that. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
All right, next we have the Gills Creek Greenway. The OAT has developed several layout options to fit into the county's current budget. For this project, since the original entire project cannot be completed with the current available funds. Lower Richland Boulevard widening, the OAT is finalizing their fee to perform the design of the rescope approved by council. For the Percival Road sidewalk, the OAT is in the process of completing the construction plans to be submitted to the SCDOT for approval. For Pine View, the OAT is working on a 30% preliminary plans for the descope plans for this project. Polo Road widening, the OAT is working to finalize the 30% preliminary plans for the descope of this project. For resurfacing packages S and T, staff is finalizing the list of roads that will be included in both of these packages, and it's in the process of getting a list of quantities and cost estimate finalized for both of these packages as well. Screaming Eagle Percival intersection. An SLBE goal has been set, and the OET is finalizing the bid documents. And our utility coordinator is working with AT&T to finalize the relocation plans. So, and it's anticipated that this project will be advertised around the end of April. For Sharp Road widening, the design is underway. The OET has completed their analysis of the existing drainage system in the area of George Rogers Boulevard, Sharp Road, Rosewood, and has discovered that the existing system is significantly undersized. So the staff is working with SCDOT to determine what's going to be the county's responsibility and what's going to be the SCDOT's responsibility as far as getting the system upsized properly. For Smith Rocky Branch Greenway, this project had been on hold, waiting on permissions from Vulcan, but recently we finally received the permissions from Vulcan, and the OET has coordinated with Vulcan to get the necessary samples in order to move this design for this project forward. For Spears Creek Church Road widening, the 30% preliminary plans have been submitted to SCDOT. SCDOT has provided comments, and the OET has addressed the comments and sent them back to SCDOT. SCDOT has also preliminarily approved the design exception request at Spears Creek Crossing, and this will allow us to meet a more relaxed standard, which will in turn bring down the cost of the bridge work at this location. Next, we have the Sunset Drive sidewalk. The OET is in the process of completing the construction plans to be submitted to SCDOT for final approval. And last but not least, we have the Trentham Newcastle NIP. The OET is finalizing the 30% preliminary plans as well. So Penny, any questions? If we have any questions about anything that was discussed.
Good place to stop with a lot of, we wanted to kind of freshen up all the projects, so it might help also the committee with questions.
Absolutely. Got the juices flowing, at least on my end. Does anyone else want to jump in? Any projects of interest that y'all want to ask any questions about before we move on?
John, yes, I do. I have a question.
Yeah.
But it's more about, it may be an omission on my part, but I was scanning through the documents and the dirt road paving package in. I didn't see that one included. And I could have been an oversight. But if it is, that's great. I'll continue to review. But if it's not, if you could please include dirt road paving package in at the next meeting.
Okay.
And then, and this is a question for Mr. Maloney. The committee council, those 3 that have been approved from committee, did you say they would be listed for the upcoming council meeting of March 1st?
I'm sorry.
Blythewood, Atlas Road, and Congress Point, the ones that have been approved through committee?
Yes.
Have those moved to council meeting for March 1st?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And I do think that is helpful context as well, that ad hoc did meet on February 22nd. Their next meeting is March 22nd, which will be the day after our next meeting. So if there's anything we'd like to inform them of before that meeting, we will have that opportunity before their March meeting. Any other questions on pre-construction? Yes, sir.
I wanted to say too, when Mr. Rashid was talking about the CSX thing with the city, I believe that's actually on the city's agenda for tomorrow.
Okay.
About the easement or whatever that thing was. I remember seeing something about that, what you were talking about on the city council's agenda for that tomorrow. So hopefully they'll have some good news come out of that.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Okay, and that's related to the trail going under their bridge,
Yeah,
Crane Creek. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what I read, because I remember railroads and CSX, and I can't get none of my PDF stuff to load up, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be on there.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Always looking for those opportunities for city and county to coordinate their activities for sure. Let's see, Mr. Anderson, any questions about Broad River Road and what's headed that way? First question that comes to my mind, it's something that we've gotten out of the habit of, is whether public meetings will be incorporated as part of that process, and at what phase of the design process y'all would intend to do that.
Is that for a particular project?
Yeah, the Broad River Road widening. Since that one is just in its very initial stages, it seems like a good time to start planning for that kind of public engagement.
Sure. Besides dirt roads, Jeff McNesby here, just below my square, at least on my screen, is right there, and he's our PM for Broad River Road widening, one of the Broad River Road projects. And I know how key that project is. If Jeff, I'm giving you time to review in your head the big scope there, but there are quite a few A&E services, and if you could recall where that public informational meeting and where they would be.
Sure, Mike. So Broad River Road project, currently we were working off of 2 service orders with our engineering consultant. And as part of that, a meeting was held several years ago before most of us joined transportation. So in the meantime, what we're doing is we're updating a new service order modification back to the original scope. This new service order modification is going to take the place of what was in place previously with the two service orders. So within there is going to be one public meeting that we're going to hold to go through the project. There's been a great deal of interest from property owners along the project concerning when the right of way is going to be purchased, what's the plan with the parcels. So we do have that as part of our coordination efforts on the project.
Would you characterize that as after 30% or right around that point?
Well, typically the right of way plans will go to the public at 60% plans. We're roughly 40% plans right now.
Okay.
But again, depending on the need of the community, we can hold that meeting prior to then, once we have a better understanding of the layout of the project.
Okay, so that would be sometime in 2022 then.
That would be the goal.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very good. Thorough. I appreciate that explanation, and hope that we can post about that, use our calendar as soon as possible, whenever we can, to post that meeting and get it ready whenever your design team's ready to bring those forward. And be good for y'all to have a good look at them first, and before you take them public and generate all those nice figures for that piece. So all great there. Excited to hear that Bull and Elmwood's about ready for bid. That every time I drive through that intersection, I think that I'm thrilled that y'all are working on it. It's a mess. Hopefully there's a easy access into Bull Street there where you don't have to get in with everyone who's turning left, and you maybe just go straight there or something like that. I know y'all got the common sense to figure that stuff out. Always happy to hear sewer easements getting utilized for greenways. They make good neighbors, as long as you don't mind that smell of money, as we say in my office. I guess with the reevaluation of the termini for the Gills Creek Greenway, I did want to ask about that process, what the considerations are, where we're at in the process, and will public buy-in be sought once y'all have have reestablished those termini? Is that something that will go back to ad hoc and council for approval, or is it within the parameters of the project that y'all are just kind of work it out and kind of figure it out as the design team?
Yeah, again, we have Jeff McNesby working on that one as well. And I know, a lot of it, I wish I didn't have to say, it has to do with funding and the costs that have, just keep rising, don't they? But we looked at it from a point where, building it from, I'll call it town out, and looking at it back as kind of starting where there's nature and building up. So Mr. McNesby had some ideas on that. And if you want to go ahead and express those to the committee, that'd be great.
Sure, Mike.
And there's some things we've already talked to the city in a coordination meeting about a lot of these things. So anything that we've talked to the city about, I think is fair to kind of communicate.
Sure, Mike. So obviously there's been some challenges with the Gills Creek Greenway project. A lot of that's related to cost of wood. When we first started the design work on this project, you could buy 1,000 board feet of wood for $300. Most recently, it hit up to $1,400. I think it's down to $900. So the prices are up and down. So what we did recently was we confirmed how much money do we have left, how much money have we spent, where are we with our design, what can we accomplish. So as Mike said, we look from town out, we'll call that north-south. It's been the original goal of the project. And we decided that with the limited amount of money that we have available to us, we wanted to look at 3 options going from south to north. So this would include starting at Timber Lane Drive and seeing how far north we can go with the monies we have available to us. We still have to pay our engineers for design. We have to pay for construction management. We have to pay for permitting, all those features. And then we try to narrow that down into how much money do we actually have to build the Greenway itself. We had a cost estimate completed this month by our consultant, and it came back that we can reach a termini that we were looking at. I don't have it in front of me, I apologize, but it's the terminal that we could afford starts in Timber Lane and it goes up to, I believe it's Bright Avenue. And with that, it's going to be closed, but we should be able to reach that section. The idea is, look at this as a phase 1 of the project, and as additional funding, including grants money, become available, is to connect to go to that next point at Bright Avenue and then go further north from there.
Okay. And I'm sorry, what did you say that northern termini was?
I don't have it in front of me. I apologize. I want to say it's Bright Avenue, and I will confirm with my note as we speak. But that's the section we did a cost analysis for, and it looks like we should be able to reach that point with the money available to us. And this does not include any grant money. We're going to continue looking for those opportunities.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just hunting maps real quick, trying to figure out where we might be at here. That maybe it's a road that's unlabeled or something.
It's one of those short sections of roads, yes.
Okay, but short of Rosewood, I guess would be.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
It is Bright, BRIGHT.
I need to.
Oh,
If I can just throw in one thing about something I said earlier, about that project I mentioned. It looks like it is not on City Council's agenda for tomorrow. I know I read something about it someplace. It might have been from their work session or something that I saw, but I'm sorry, I misspoke. It's not on the council's agenda for tomorrow. Just
we may
wanted
not
to
have
correct
feel-
that.
yeah, we may not have cleared that hurdle yet, so a little more effort there.
Yeah.
Thank you for that clarification.
And it's a railroad issue, but we'll work with the city and coordinate with them on options to get across. So.
Ms. Eva, I see your hand up.
Oh, yes. Thank you, John. Just for clarification on the public hearing or public input, did you say at 60% of the preliminary plans you would then publish for? Is that a public hearing or public input for these pre-construction projects?
Yes, ma'am. What we like to do is when we reach a stage of the project where we know the properties we have to purchase, we have a good understanding where the drainage is going, how much land we need. That's typically when we like to sit down with the public and then review the project with them. However, depending on the needs of the community, direction from county council, we can hold that meeting early or we can hold multiple meetings. That's always an option. But the plan right now has been to wait till we get to that design stage and then hold a public meeting.
Yes, Ms. Prelo, it's not a public hearing as far as like a zoning hearing or something like that, but it's it's a public informational meeting that we can take in input from the public on the projects and is done on really all our major projects.
Okay, and how much notice in advance do the public get when that information is published? What type of advance notice, or how long of an advance notice would they get?
Go ahead, Miss Tony. You've been doing a lot of these.
Typically, we've done about maybe a month notice. It just depends, and it's given through all different types of information. There are public signs. It's if around the project is the residents will know about it. If it's a neighborhood associations know about it. All different avenues and letters are sent out. So there's all type of publications plus through our regular PIO outlets.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And my last question on pre-construction is just the negotiation strategy with DOT when y'all go in to talk about Shop Road. Would they be, it sounds like y'all are indicating that the stormwater utilities are insufficient for the current use. Am I correct in hearing that, or is it only that they're insufficient for the build out use of the roadway?
Not the stormwater.
Yes, it is.
Go ahead.
Yes, as it is, the existing doesn't have enough capacity. That's why we are doing a study by OET to find out what to do. The OET has done this study. We are going to take it to them. I mean, we are actually asking them to give us a time that we can meet with them, and we go from there.
Okay, so it sounds like they're still in the discovery phase to some degree. And so I guess that negotiation strategy will be determined down the road a little ways, but I know that'll be an interesting conversation with DOT to get them to pick up the tab. So luck with it, be checking back for updates. Do y'all have any other questions on pre-construction before we move into the construction update? Okay, Mr. Maloney, if you want to move on.
I do. So we have a construction update, and we have Jeff McNesby, who is going to talk about dirt roads for a bit, and then we'll talk about some of our lists when we get to the end of that are actually attached. We do have, as was talked about in pre-construction, resurfacing package S and T with us, which are early on, so you can see those as we're developing the lists, which seemed to be one of the goals that the committee was looking to get involved with down the road here and in a quorum, but certainly would take any input. And then at the end, I'll come back and talk about the financial report if you have time. So go ahead, Mr. McNesby, if you would.
Thanks, Mike. Dirt road paving package K. All 4 roads in this paving package have been paved as of this week. That would be Robert James Road, Rocky Road, South Drive, and Barkley Road. The last road we've been working on was Barkley Road. We have a little bit more work to go out there. It's going to be some minor grading, seeding, cleaning up the site. So we hope to have the 4 projects completed very soon. As part of this project, a decision was made to go back to South Drive off of Bluff Road to address a flooding issue that was found during construction. What we learned was a property owner had a drainage system going through his large farm, and it got overwhelmed with stormwater runoff, and it got up into some of his outbuildings. So we worked with our design engineer, we worked with our contractor, and we're hoping that they'll start out there within the next 2 weeks to make those necessary repairs. And what we're going to do is to take the stormwater runoff away, of the majority of the runoff away from that property owner's ditch, and move it down to the SCDOT highway, where we'll redirect it into a nearby creek. That change order is in place. Everything's ready to go. We hope to have the project wrapped up during the month of March and then move to close out. Dirt road paving package L, that was started just before the holidays. This is off of Highway 601 for most of the projects. They are Dogwood Shores Lane, Lake Dogwood Circle South, and Wider Road. Construction has started on Wider Road. I know the contractor is running into some issues out there with wet site conditions, which is very common on dirt roads when you have a good amount of clay. They moved off the project, but their contract will not be extended. They've been notified that they have to meet the deadline that's in front of them. The project will need to be substantially complete by August 23rd of this year, which gives them 223 days to construct. They are going to notify us when they're ready to move back on Wider Road. We were told it would be as soon as next week. Dirt road paving package M includes 4 roads. We are issuing the notice to 14th, 2022. They have 255 total days to complete the project, and that would take the substantially complete date to November 24th of this year. The 4 roads in that project are Bowstring Road, Maggie Hip Road, Tall Oaks Drive, and Rosa Dowdy Road. The first road they're going to work on is Bowstring Road. That is a very key road with County Council and with the community, and we hope to have that project started, as I said earlier, by the middle of March. Thank you.
Okay, Allison's unable to be here on Innovista Phase 2. We're at 80% complete, and its estimated completion is June 22nd. And we have Miss Tony with great
Good
news.
evening.
Great
Good evening.
news.
North Main Street, the county is in the midst of having a change order, our change order number 6, that involves the concrete removal and the paving of the Monticello North Main intersection. North Main is made up of 4 different phases. The other phases 1, 3, and 4 have been pretty much complete. They're working on punch list items, so we're just awaiting the remaining section in phase number 2 from Monticello Road. And with that, change order requires county, DOT, and FHWA approval. Once that's done, the contractor estimates about 90 days that they'll have that intersection complete.
And Three Rivers.
Three Rivers Phase 1B is the connection from right on the Saluda Riverwalk that ended behind the zoo and connects to Boyd Island. That section is about 95% complete. We should have a final walkthrough within the next couple of weeks and be able to turn that section over to the city.
The city's already making plans to utilize it. I saw they have a Earth Day or Earth Hour walk to Boyd Island's plan. So
yes, they typically put the cart before the horse when it comes to the Greenway.
They're just trying to get it in while y'all are still responsible for it. That's all.
Exactly right.
And now that is both horse and cart rated.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Very good. I appreciate the thorough updates. I heard recently that Innovista Phase 3, which is no longer Innovista Phase 3, now it's a separate project because Innovista Phase 3 was removed from the penny. I guess by council vote last year is moving forward. Is that something, has there been an opportunity to do some knowledge share with the city of Columbia? As it sounds like they've taken over that project and are going to try to I guess do some of those improvements on where the 3rd phase would have been on the west side of UG?
Not that I'm aware of at this time. But
Maybe the plan was so preliminary, there may not be much to share, or is there an opportunity there?
Yeah, the only thing I've seen is probably what maybe a lot of people have seen, just the concepts of it. So I guess I don't have the plans at this point to share.
I know a little bit, Mike, that maybe USC is going to take on that. That's what I heard from 6 months ago.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ali.
I heard about a proposal recently for outside professionals to pick up the design on that section from William Street from, I guess, Senate to Blossom.
All right. The last project we have, and Dr. Ali's on the phone, is that resurfacing R, which is 80% complete. Page 15 of your packet has the road list. And Dr. Ali, if you could mention, I think the roads are complete except for there he's showing us those are the ones in kind of an orange on the screen that are
yes sir.
Otherwise all those that are in white are completed.
Yes sir. All of them are, I mean, we can say it almost 80 to 90%, and the reason is, I mean, maybe 1 or 2 really remains to be done, but whatever I highlighted here, they have some small issues such as pavement marking, or we have 2 roads that we have to do some repair, West Royal Tower and Reddington. Other than that, we can say that this is almost done, except some paving marking on some of these roads and the 2 repair on those 2 roads.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Ali. So, sir, that's Mr. Epting. That's why we went on. We're kind of wrapping that one up, and we included resurfacing packages S and T, which sound like they'll be ready to almost go out together, but different contracts.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to share this. These are the list of S&T, if you can see it.
Yeah, they made the packet this morning. So if you got your agenda this morning, we had those in it, sir. Thank you. So open solicitations, if I can turn to that, or do you have construction questions for us?
No, I just do want to clarify that, yes, y'all did include those dirt road packages R, S, and T on pages 15, 16, 17 of our package, so we can reference that. But no, please, yeah, I didn't see any questions. So please proceed, Mr. Maloney.
Okay. Yeah, the Garner's Ferry Harman intersection is out to bid. So we're waiting for that bid opening. And then we have quite a few, as you can see, on the upcoming solicitations for spring here, which is exciting to get those going.
Absolutely. Do y'all have a cost estimate on the Garner's Ferry Harman intersection? Not to give it away to any contractors.
Let's see, one person who hasn't spoke from our group is Michael Green, our newest project manager, and that is his baby. Michael, do you have a cost estimate for the group? A rough cost estimate?
Mike, I didn't hear that. What that last part? What project?
Your Garner's Ferry intersection. Out to bid, Garner's Ferry Harman.
That I actually hadn't been assigned that yet, to my knowledge.
Okay. So he's going to take it just through construction. I don't have that for you tonight, but I can certainly let you know.
It is probably in our packet. We have recent updates and all that stuff. It just curious to know what's coming in, but glad to see a healthy set and that we can spend some of that revenue that the penny continues to collect. So we need to make sure those projects are burning. Okay.
All right. We have the it says January 22 financial report on page 18. If you want us to cover that, I can just give you a few highlights on it that we've changed.
Please.
Staff's been doing a great job here. One thing we wanted to do is make sure even though this is kind of a high order, look at the budgets and everything on each project, where they were in referendum, where they are in current approval based on council approvals and grants that came in. And so we wanted to make sure, and everything we have here, adds up to $1.07 billion at the end. All these projects that we've worked on are currently encumbered to 1.098. And you say, well, that's over, that's over the referendum amount, but the next column over explains it. And that's the outside funding commitments that we've been awarded of about 35.5 million. And so that if you subtracted that from what we have as a current estimate, we'd be about 7 million under the 107. So something for the future, obviously there, and we're trying to keep various contingencies in a lot of these categories for what we're seeing with. You saw the CPI nationwide go up by 7%. CI Construction Institute and standards go up by a lot more than that, even in a good year. So we have to keep those contingencies present in these projects. And so the things that you heard Mr. McNesby talking about with the trail and tax, we have to do to maintain budget, and that is definitely part of it. Main Street project widening, full disclosure on that. We were concerned we were going over our 53.751 on that. As we did, staff had done a great job. We just I don't know if I should use the word audit, but we really reviewed all the costs going back to the beginning of that project, every invoice, and that is the addition of it. But the 53 is also, we broke it out so that if you go down to the intersection improvements, North Main Monticello Road is now there separately, not just saying look up the page, but the actual numbers are there for that now. And that shows, that there's a budget of 5.4 million for that project, and we're at 3.1 million right now as far as what's expended to date. We had to get approval for a change order. We have, Ms. Tony will tell you there's work yet to be done to finish that intersection. And so that's where the budget is. Going back up now again to the North Main Street widening. that amount of 53,751. If you look at the grant amounts to the right of it at 23,751 and subtract that, that comes back to our IGA limit of 30 million. So that's right where we are, and we're, you know, that project is completed. North Main Street widening is completed. The Monticello Road intersection with Main Street is not. And the good news was, and what I look forward to was that all those checks and everything, the staff just did a great job of going through everything and making sure we were still under that IGA, and we are. The other thing we did was, and you'll see when we're selling these wetland credits, we updated what wasn't there before, but in the current estimate, approved estimate, the program number at the bottom of the orange section, $16.254 million in development. Those are the, you know, the high order of, you know, $11 million to develop a wetland, $5 million to buy the land, et cetera. The actual amount expended is what we have on the books of 14 million. So that's why it's so important we keep selling those wetland credits in the county, out of the county, and those rates that you have pointed out, Mr. Chairman, on that are pretty critical to keep them in a relatively good place. So it continues to happen, and there are opportunities for larger sales out there.
Can you point at that wetland line item for me?
So if you got it in color, you'll see the orange section for the roadway projects, and the green section being the greenways and PEDs. The very bottom line, it's called Program, Traffic Studies, Plans, and Mitigation Bank.
I see.
That's it there.
Make sure I highlight that one. All right. Very good, Mr. Maloney. I appreciate.
That's
I'm
all,
sorry.
that's all we have, sir.
Thank you very much. Very thorough. Do we have any questions for the transportation program, or any more questions? We've asked plenty of questions.
John, I have one for clarification, and this is to Mr. Maloney. In the phase, the very last column, just for understanding, so that I can understand, I understand the design, you know, RW right of way, but when it says complete, are we speaking of the phase? Can you give an explanation for that column under phase?
First of all, you know, the CO means complete. I had to learn that. But if you're asking why, what does complete mean? Yeah, it means that line item is complete, meaning final completion and acceptance of the project.
As it relates to funding?
No, as it relates to actual construction.
Okay.
But it better also mean we had enough funding. So yeah,
okay, so I'm going to reference Garner's Ferry Road and Harman Road. I thought in the presentation that it was just beginning. Did we say something about that particular project was?
I think it's the
beginning stage
on that line item.
But it says, yeah, unless I'm reading the line, I have to get my magnifying glass out so that I can follow it. But it says, oh, wait, well, let's see.
93,000, yes, spent.
I'm just following. Okay, my mistake. I read it. My eyes missed drop down one. I thought it said close out or complete, but now that I was on the wrong line. That's what gave me. I was a little confused, right. But I see now where my mistake is in reading that going across.
Absolutely, we need our virtual straight edges to catch that.
Yeah, I need a ruler or something. All right, okay, got it. Thank you.
All right, any other questions for us?
Ms. Tony, I see your hand up. Maybe that's comment.
It was just to clarify that I believe the CO under phase was for any that are under construction. If I'm not mistaken, as opposed to being complete.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Yep. Appreciate that.
I thought it meant that there was a change order, so I'm glad we got clarification.
Well, that's another acronym I use as well, but for these purposes, it's under construction.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. It was change order as well, but so it's construction. Got it.
We need to come up with a better one there. We'll fix that.
Okay.
Very good. Well, Short, any other questions for the transportation program? I'll turn it over to Mr. Harris to talk about the comment for a moment.
Hey, how's it going? All right. So first off, just major highlights. Again, we're working through Lucius and River, which is a hot topic. We did have our kickoff meeting. We issued a notice to proceed February 1st. We had our kickoff meeting for pre-construction February 14th, Valentine's Day. And then I asked the question, when would they touch ground? And they said February 28th. So it seems like today was the day that we are set to break ground and move forward with that project. We did have an opportunity to meet with the Earlwood Neighborhood Association to brief them on the plans, and they seem to be pretty excited. The only comment that we received back was the interest to make sure that we have some type of bicycle infrastructure, just something as simple as a bike rack to accommodate the increase in pedestrian, I guess within this corridor. So we want to make sure that we capitalize on that opportunity, and we think that'll be a great collaboration. And I believe the person that mentioned this was on the Tpac committee. So if anyone on the line today is from the Tpac committee, your comments were taken in consideration. But carrying on, we again are spending a lot of time with OTP, just making sure that we have more, as reliable of a service that we can possibly put out. So we want to make sure we capitalize on that. We hope that we have a new schedule going out within the next, I say, month. So it could be anytime between, say, March and April, where we should see the service start to run out. I'm actually working on the schedules as we speak. It's just a matter of everything else on the background, in the back end, from a technological standpoint, where we got to make sure that stuff is put together. As you know, we did go through a lot of software integration over the course of the last 2 years, trying to work with, trying to allow customers to be able to track their buses and things of that nature. So that software, and also taking on University of South Carolina service. So we have multiple systems in place that's speaking to each other. So we want to make sure all of that stuff is good to go before we proceed and move forward. More than anything else, I do want to highlight Reimagine the Comet. It's been an ongoing process. We did finally receive the revised maps of what the service will look like. I'm not prepared today to speak on them, but we do have a service committee, which is March 9th, where we will actually talk about it with our service committee from our board of directors. We want to meet with them first, let them vet it out, and then from there we will move into, I guess, the more public realm where we can have more of a conversation. We will go through a series of public meetings, and we have not set those locations as of yet. But of course, this committee would definitely have an opportunity to get a lot of that information as well. You probably hear it first before anyone else. But we are truly excited about everything that's coming down the pipeline for that. But we also know it could be very controversial as you start to see some of the route alignments change, as some neighborhoods get more sensitive towards that. But nevertheless, as far as ridership goes, on paper, we're down by 85,000 passengers from the previous year. But from month to month, we're actually up by 4%. But we're actually down if you include U of SC service. So we always have to try to make sure we extract that data to give you the, I guess, the realism of where we are. As far as Saturday level of service and Sunday level of service, we are fairly down as a whole, but we do have 9 routes that are performing quite well. And that's Route 32, North Main, Hardscrabble, Route 47, that's east over to Gadsden, 57L, that's Killian and Clemson local route, and Route 75, Decker Park Lane, Route 76, Fort Jackson, Route 84, Dutch Square, Route 92X, that's the 12th Street extension, Route 701, that is Forest Acres, and Route 801, and that is Broad River Road. But those routes are doing pretty well. It's nothing to really fret about this month at all. Right, we know that ridership trends downward. So right now we're kind of steady more so for the month of December. Of course, you got to think about all the factors. People are taking off of work. People are not willing to stand at the bus stops for a long period of time due to the weather factors. And so you may have a lot of other intricacies that may be playing a role into a decrease in ridership or a steady ridership as we're starting to see. Outside of that, I guess looking at amenities, we had 7 sites to be completed in the month of February. 4 shelters were installed and 3 benches. And we have 4 shelter sites approved and 1 bench approved. So we should have that installed sooner than later. But that pretty much is the summary of my report, but I'm open to answer any questions that anyone may have.
I'll start with one. I think it's the second month in a row we've talked about ridership being down at U of SC. Do we see a pattern forming there, or does it, correspond with what you say is a typical ridership this time of year? Do we need to be worried about, private buses taking up too much of the market space here for the apartment dwellers and that sort of thing? Just your thoughts on that number.
Yeah, I think you asked a really good question. So no, it's nothing to worry about at all. The reason being, again, U of SC, they moved into this period where a lot of students are taking finals, and then they're running reduced service in the month of December. So it's expected for the ridership to be low. So it's nothing to really fret about. It's just a matter of us making sure that we extract that data when reporting how well the service as a whole is really performing.
I see. So the data that we're reporting now is from December then, not from January, February.
That is correct.
Okay.
We're always like 1 month in a whole because it has to be a processing period.
Right. Okay. Any other questions for Eric? I will say that I'm glad that you've got some buy-in from Tpac, and I hope that they're boarding the bus at the top of the hill and not the bottom. So they have to get off down there at the bottom, and whew, that's a hill. Also, I'm always going to ask you about implementation of electric and hydrogen buses and how we're moving along that path.
Absolutely. I was just going to add that just in case you didn't ask about it this time. So it is more of a complex situation. It's a lot that we have been working through for the last few months, but we have a total of like 5 contractors working on this project. We have 1 project manager. We have Bethlehem, who's actually responsible for the hydrogen infrastructure. We have MSI, who's responsible for the actual construction of the project. And we have a company called Lindy, who is responsible for the hydrogen molecule. And then you have New Flyer, the bus that we were actually working with. So we are just trying to, again, find that particular location. I think we did settle in, but we'll know for sure within the next couple of meetings. That should be coming up within the next week or so. Well, at least the first of those next couple of meetings should be coming up in another week or so. But it's still moving forward. It's just getting everyone to speak to one another and trying to figure out the best way to, to get this on the ground. So it is a little bit more complex than we expected starting out.
Is any of that infrastructure expected to be outside of the Lucius facility?
Right now, we plan for it to be on site. That is one of the proposed locations. So we definitely plan for it to be on site.
Very good. And I will say we're very much looking forward to the reimagining report coming out publicly and taking a look and seeing how that looks. Just want to add that note. Does anyone have any other questions for Mr. Harris? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next part of the agenda. Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you.
So our next scheduled meeting is March 21st. As I mentioned before, ad hoc meets on the 22nd, so we'll be well positioned next month to provide some preliminary or I guess preemptive feedback for that committee. I would like to ask Richland County for a little bit of help to see if we may be able to facilitate that meeting in person. That said, I would also love to still be able to facilitate this virtual performance. I'm not sure if anyone who can answer that question is available here on the call, or if that's something I need to go fishing for. At least initially, whether in-person meetings are going to be acceptable. Richland County's facility or the Penny's office, and then whether that can be facilitated both virtually and in person.
Yeah, that I know council's back, and I know there's one more agenda item tomorrow night to see where that goes with masking and stuff. But well, we're having a lot of meetings and we're not closed in any way. Public's welcome, given the guidelines we have. So if ever you do want to meet, in the Osbo conference room or another place, or get reservation for, I understand you used to meet in 4th floor.
That's right.
And that's, probably not utilized much. And I've been in some good meetings in that room. So that's still there, still ready and set up for kind of in a U shape right now. So whatever you guys want to do, we'll check into, with the clerk of court, or excuse me, clerk of council and IT and everybody to accommodate you.
Okay. And Kelly's been great in helping us facilitating so far. Would that be a good person to reach out to continue to coordinate that?
She could be, she could be our communication point.
We're just stacking up your workload, Kelly. Sorry about that.
It's no problem. I'll reach out to IT tomorrow and we'll talk about how to get it done.
Awesome. I appreciate that very much. I think it'd be good to get this group in person again to the extent that we can, but also understand that staff, this being after hours, how that can be strenuous on y'all as well. So I want to provide an opportunity to join virtually to facilitate as best we can. The last item I have here on the agenda is regarding Tpac membership. I was checking the rules and appointments agenda for their next meeting. They have 2 interviews and 4 appointments up for a vote from Richland County. And so we may be fully appointed or maybe even over appointed at our next meeting. So I need to do a little bit of follow up with rules and appointments to make sure that they don't appoint more folks than we have vacancies for. That said, encouraging to see that they are bringing folks up for a vote and hopefully going to help us fill out at least the remaining Richland County contingent of the committee to get us a few more folks on here to help us out. So y'all short, any questions, comments, concerns, or platitudes? I think that we're ready to cut this one loose again without a quorum. I don't need a motion or a second to do so. I'll give y'all a moment to see if there's anything else y'all want to discuss. Seeing none, I appreciate everyone's time very, very much. Hope y'all have a great month, and I'll talk to you in March.